Onto this story now. It appeared to be simply the tragic deaths of two teenagers at a lodge in Mpumalanga. That was awful enough, but now the story has taken a disturbing turn. 17-year-old St Stithians learner Cameron Waldeck-Cooks and former pupil Ethan Coetzee were found dead at a lodge near Sabie last week Monday. Police initially opened an inquest, but a post-mortem examination has since led to a murder investigation with findings indicating that Cameron may have died from strangulation and suffocation. As investigators work to establish exactly what happened, questions are emerging about the events leading up to the deaths, the relationship between the two teenagers, and what might have happened inside that lodge. EWN's Nkosikhona Malinga-Mnisi has been following that story and uncovering the details that perhaps are not as clear as what the headlines may tell you. He joins us now. Nkosikhona, we heard about the story last week, Monday, and there's been lots of information and messages and statements doing the rounds. Are we any clearer now about what might have happened at that lodge?
Good morning, Bongani. The details are still very sketchy, but I think we are starting to see a picture emerge, at least from the accounts of the family of 17-year-old Cameron, in that a post from one of her siblings emerging over the weekend, essentially saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, that my sister did not die peacefully. That
Sure.
Ethan was someone that the family of Cameron considered to be someone close to them. But all of that trust now eroded by the events that unfolded at Waterval. That's the lodge where the bodies of the two youngsters were
Were
then found.
discovered.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, without obviously apportioning or implying blame on
Mm.
anyone, we're talking now about a 17-year-old
Right.
who had been with another family. Just explain that context.
So she had essentially gone on a hiking trip with two families, including the family of Ethan. And in fact, we understand that it was a Graham Coetzee, the father of Ethan, who made this horrific discovery on Monday morning. And the reason her family says she had gone on this hiking trip was purely to fulfill some of the requirements of this presidential award. We know Cameron, at least by the accounts of her school and family, to have been someone who deeply loved sports and who was incredible at it. And a
And a
very
high achiever as a learner.
100%, Bongani. So this is the reason precisely why she had gone on this trip. They said she saw it as an opportunity to then fulfill all of the requirements of this gold status presidential award.
So, what led to the turn and what seemed to be tragic deaths now becoming a murder investigation?
Absolutely, you're correct in saying that initially the police had launched an inquest. And of course, an inquest is launched in circumstances where it's not really clear how someone passed away. But then, when we saw a News 24 report suggesting that one of the aspects that the police are looking into is issues around the use of drugs, we then made a follow up with the police. And that's when they released a statement saying these preliminary post mortem results suggesting, as you said, that Cameron may have died by strangulation and Ethan may have taken his own life. And subsequent to that, we then received an email from the parents of Cameron. And I think one observation that I made in that email was that they specifically asked us to use pictures where she is alone. And you can make of that what you will.
As media.
100%. And obviously, just remembering a really a joy in the family, really for them as a family. So it's a really sensitive matter, and I mean the discourse that it's brought about on social media has been astonishing. I even took a break from it this past weekend just because of some of the very difficult comments to digest. But of course, as we know, there
Yeah.
is the police investigation ongoing. But also, the family of Cameron appointed an independent pathologist who also made similar findings to the ones that were made by the police, then suggesting that she died by strangulation and suffocation.
Have we heard any statement or had any statement released by the Coetzee family?
Right. So, in fact, as I was preparing for this conversation, I saw a number of reports suggesting that they have released a statement. I've since embarked on trying to get it because, of course, we want to independently verify. But at least from the reports that I've read this morning and last night, they suggest that they've denied the accounts, as would the what you may call the preliminary findings of the post-mortem, saying that there were no signs of struggle, that these two youngsters seemed very happy the night before this tragedy, and I suppose defending the honor, if you will, of their son. But as I said, we as EWN are yet to independently verify
Yeah.
any statement from the Coetzee family.
Is it your understanding that these two had been left alone at least for the night before the discovery?
Absolutely, in the sense that they were found in the same room, deceased.
Gosh, what a story. All right, EWN's Nkosikhona Malinga-Mnisi following that story, and as we get more details, we'll certainly bring them to you. Stay listening to 702.